Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Juve from the Six. This is for podcast number 2. I really thank you for joining us. I really hope you enjoyed podcast number 1 and 1.5 that was released during the last break or last week after the game against Malmo. But today, of course, as per usual, I am joined with Leo. How are you today, Leo?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
I can't complain. I mean, it is what it is. A Juve game day, a lot better than what it's been the last couple of weeks. But before we jump into that, I'm just going to get you to hit the like and subscribe button. And there's a little bell icon. If you want to hit that, that lets you get notified every time I post a video or when we post these podcasts. So jumping into it right now, before we get into the Milan game, I'm just going to touch a little bit on the Malmo game. I don't want to touch too much on it because I released podcast 1.5 during the week. So for the Malmo game, honestly, was a breath of fresh air. Seeing that kind of Juve performance from the boys, they did absolutely well. They started in a 4-4-2, which was something that they've been practicing during training sessions. And Allegri said that he was going to go with the 4-4-2. Stuck by that. Dybala had a good game. Alexandro definitely had a phenomenal game, probably his best in black and white, in my personal opinion. Locatelli, to me, was the best player on the field.
Few good games in a row, man. Few good games in a row.
Yeah, definitely a good start to his Juventus career. Now you're starting to hear a lot of the whole, he's always wanted to join Juve. Juve was his team as a kid. The usual script that the players say. I mean, maybe this one is true. You never know what's true just because they don't want to piss off their employers, right? So other than that, give me your breakdown of what you saw versus Malmo during the week. I know you didn't watch too much of the game, but give me, from what you saw, what stuck out to you?
The way they pressured Malmo, the way they moved the ball really quick, it was nice. It was attacking. It was great, man. 1-2 little touches, good play, solid defensively. Like you said, Locatelli controlled the midfield. It was nice to see. They had a killer instinct that day.
Yeah, you know what? And that's what's been missing a lot of games for Juventus is that killer instinct. They definitely had it in that game. They put that game to bed in the first half. There's no coming back from Malmo. They controlled. I mean, there were obviously peaks of Malmo possession where they had the opportunities to do what they wanted to do. But other than that, it was total dominance from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
Locatelli patrolled that midfield like it was only his, and he was the only midfielder there. So that was kind of nice to see. Well, I want to know your opinion solely based on a certain player that has seemed to have found himself again because of Locatelli, I think, and that is Adrian Rabiot. Yeah. What do you think of Rabiot since Locatelli's joined?
So much better, right?
You see, I think
much better. Like he's making the right plays. He looks faster. He looks stronger. He's making quicker decisions. I think Locatelli's kind of helped him out.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think
Allegri's helped him out too, though. Don't forget.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think what's happened too is giving Locatelli being the possession style defense midfielder that he is. I think is giving that opportunity for Rabiot to push up. And on that left side, he's done well, especially the game against Malmo and the game today's game against AC Milan, which we're going to jump into right now, just because I mean that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about getting caught up about the weekend game, setting up what's upcoming for City. I'll talk about the news that hit the airwaves for Juve over the week. So now we're going to jump into that Milan game. What did you see? I saw a tale of two Juves in this game. I don't know about you.
Jekyll and Hyde today, right?
For sure. I mean, first half was the Juve we've been waiting for. The Juve that upped their level. Yeah, that they upped their level from that Malmo game. Yeah. And then the second half happened. What went wrong in the second? Let's touch on the first half first. So
positive first. Positive first.
Yeah. So sum up your first half. What stood out for you?
Right away, as soon as that ball dropped, that was it. They were attacking, pressuring. They looked like they wanted to score 100 goals at half. Good plays. Midfield was solid, making great runs down the wing. They exposed Milan a lot, I thought, in the mid. Juve definitely won that battle. 4 minutes in, Morata, beautiful counterattack, lovely chip over what's the goalie's name?
I don't know how to pronounce it, Minyan or something like that.
Yeah.
I think of the those little yellow guys from the movie and Despicable Me, when
Minions.
the Minions. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think of.
Yeah,
But yes, no,
beautiful.
beautiful
Yeah, it
finish.
was awesome.
Yeah, beautiful finish by Morata. That was just an all out. That is what a counterattack was all about. Off the
Yeah.
corner, defensive clearance, find the open guy, quick pass by Dybala. Honestly, I think Dybala had one of his. He's been a man possessed since, I hate to say it, since Ronaldo left.
Yeah.
Dybala has just been a completely. I don't want to say different guy. It seems like he's back to the person that we expect.
We had a slump for 2 years when Ronaldo was here, right? Because
Mhm.
the clash of testosterone, right? I want to be the guy. No, I want to be the guy.
Yeah. A lot of stuff ended up getting catered to Ronaldo. I'm not going to touch on that. We're not going to touch on that.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff, yes, was catered towards Ronaldo that I think it impeded Dybala's development with the team, and it's unfortunate because at that point in time, what is that? He was 24 during that 23 to 28 stage in a player's career is a very crucial. Yeah, that's very crucial because you get to know where he's going to be between that age of 28 and 32, right?
Yeah.
So it was really unfortunate. I think Ronaldo coming over should have helped Dybala because he's learning from one of the greatest of all time. We were never going to get Messi, but we had, I don't want to say Messi Jr., but maybe the guy that was supposed to be a Lionel Messi type.
Yeah,
you know
lead
what
Argentina after Messi, right? But
yeah. I mean, and who knows at this point in time, do we see Dybala become that Messi for Argentina? Could have been that Messi for Italy, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to touch on that. But so I mean, it's unfortunate. But going back to the game today, I think Dybala had one of the best games that he's played so far this year. I think.
What did you like about the first half? What really stood out to you?
So one thing I thoroughly loved was they had what looked like that killer instinct. They scored, but they continued to press.
Yeah.
They really didn't give Milan a chance to do anything. They really, as soon as Milan had the ball, Juve was quick to recover. Rabiot was open. Having Locatelli in the middle made Rabiot have opportunities to push forward, which I absolutely love watching Rabiot push forward. Not that he does it beautifully or whatever, but it's a different aspect of his game that
he's big and he's strong and he strides through that midfield, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was nice to see Alex Sandro continue the game. Yeah. I think he did really well today. He continued from the previous game that carried in. One guy I wanted to talk about today as well was Danilo. I absolutely was not a fan of the Cancelo for Danilo swap, but how well has Danilo played?
He's been a rock.
Since Pirlo, I think Pirlo has a lot to do with that because he's become one of the most versatile guys for Juventus, for this Juventus squad. I mean, playing center defensive mid, playing on that wing, playing center back last year for Pirlo's Juventus. He's just become such a big part of this team.
Yeah, Brazilian Florenzi, right?
Yeah. You know what? I think Juve really controlled the game on both aspects in that first half. Attacking wise, defensively, didn't give Milan anything. And you know what? They were deserved 1-0 leads at the half. But then the second half happened.
Yeah, what the hell happened between that time and that time? Like, it's like Allegri went into the room and said, "Okay, guys, park the bus, lock it down."
Yeah, which is weird because let's just say if that was the talk that they had, why are you subbing players to change the formation to a 4-3-3 versus, you know what? Let's sub Cuadrado for defensive-minded De Ligt. Bring 5 players into the box and still have your guys like Dybala. Maybe sub Chiesa for Dybala. Maybe sub an attacker for another attacker. If you want to bring up Morata, bring in Keane like they did. But how do you go from a 4-4-2 to playing utter, hold on, because you had to expect Milan to push.
Of course.
They weren't going to, right? So, and I'll be honest with you, I think Milan is the best team in Serie A this year. I think personally they are the front runners when it comes to the Scudetto. But I think the big change in this game was the Quadrado sub for Chiesa, which then changed the formation to a 4-3-3.
But it was Morata that came off first, right?
Morata came off first.
Only because of an injury.
Yes, only because of an injury. We're going to touch on that too for a second.
Yeah.
But yes, because of the injury, he came off. But you brought in another number 9. You went number 9, straight swap, number 9 for number 9. So obviously, I think the move there was continue to attack because you're bringing off an injured number 9 for a healthy number 9. But then why bring 6 minutes later? Why bring on Chiesa for Morata and switch the formation to 4-3-3 instead of maybe parking the bus for the last 20 minutes, bringing on De Ligt? Like, why is De Ligt on the bench? Why isn't he being brought out? A lot of news about De Ligt right now too.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on with him, right?
And I don't know how I feel about that because honestly, De Ligt's a future Ballon d'Or winner, as Allegri was saying that people have said. And honestly, I think he's the best young defender in the game. And we have a chance here to carry on a torch from a Bonucci/Chiellini to someone else and a capable center back. This is the one thing I've always argued about Allegri was how he talks about development of young players, but then at the same time
holds them back, right?
Holds them back.
I kind of want to touch on the subs he made too. I was just kind of kidding around saying, "Oh, everyone in said park the bus." He obviously made attack-minded subs. Keep going.
Of course.
I just think the team mentality is weak right now.
Yeah, I could agree with you on that.
It's like they get the lead and they just don't know what to do. They blank. Right? Yeah. Like we were saying how Rabiot was great in the first half. Okay, but in the second half, I think he gave away 2 cheap corners, right? Which led to the goal.
Yeah.
And then even when Milan scored, Locatelli should have been covering Rabiot.
Yeah.
Lost him in that
there's
the scrum there, right?
There's something going on there. There's I don't know what it is, but there's just something going on there where Juventus isn't able to play on both sides of the halves. So
it's because they're young, I think, too, right? I look at it as they still have to grow and kind of mature themselves and find that instinct to make, hey, keep going, keep pressuring, keep attacking.
Yeah,
same thing with, I hate to use the same thing with the Leafs, right?
Yeah.
As long as he's been around, at the end of the day, there's still a young core. Same with this Juventus team, there's still a young core. Yeah, they got the guys in the back, the veterans in the back, Bonucci, Chiellini, but they can't do anything from the back.
No, it's true.
Right?
It's true.
So there's some growth there. There's still room to grow.
There is, and I think especially when you bring up Bonucci, the ball that he gave to Rabiot for that one opportunity in the second half where it was beautiful. But the thing about Bonucci is that happens so few and far between now. It's not the same like it used to be. So I think we touched on it on the last podcast where there's that gap. There's a mix of they're young and learning, and they're not old, but mature and
they're seasoned. They're seasoned.
Yeah, and there's no in between there, right? And it was more the players that are the in betweens. You're looking at our players like Aaron Ramsey, Adrian Rabiot. Well, Rabiot's 25, so he's still, I guess, young. But they're players that are like, actually, there is no in betweens other than really Ramsey, because everybody else is really pushing mid to late 30s, right? So it's like even when you're looking at a goalie like Wojciech Szczesny, he had a good game today, had a good game against Malmo, had three shit games previous. Sorry to swear, sorry to use that word, but 3 horrible previous games, and then the whole of 2021 has been bad. But it's like, when do you make the transition over to another goalie, right? What's his cap of, you know what, he's over the hill, or we need to look at a new flavor now, because he's another player that is very heavily favored by Allegri, where if we had Donnarumma, I'm pretty sure Donnarumma would be treated in Italy or with Juventus the way he's being treated at PSG right now, where he's not getting any starts because the favored goalie
Is he
is
still
starting.
not starting?
He's played one game. Last I checked, he's only played one game for
Really?
PSG.
Still?
Yeah, yeah. He's played more games for Italy over this past month than he has for PSG.
He might even ask to leave at the end of the season, and that's when Juve jump on
You know what? That's fine. It kind of sucks that they'd have to pay, but I mean, hey, bring him
Yeah.
over. We definitely need him, right? So it's like going back to the game. The second half stuff has to stop because now we got to see 3 good halves out of a possible eight halves, and that's essentially that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it in Serie A. Even you want to call Serie A a farmers league, a weak league, it's a top league. And
It is.
playing like that is not going to get you a top 10 spot. You're looking at teams like Milan, Inter. Milan, like I said, I think is the best team in Serie A. And then you have Inter that's beating teams like Bologna, who Bologna's not that bad, but they're beating them 6-1, right? So it's like, where does Juve compare to these teams? Because right now, they absolutely have no identity.
Mm-hmm.
Can't put games to bed. Today's game, all I was thinking of is get that second goal. Get that second goal because you guys are not good enough at keeping a 1-0 game. We know this.
Yeah.
They just got their first clean sheet against Malmo for the first time since March. You guys will not keep clean sheets. You need more than 1 goal to win.
Yeah. I think Allegri knows that too, right? I think that's why they're so heavily attack-minded in the first half, because I think what they're trying to do here is win games in the first half.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroy teams 2-0, 3-0, get those quick goals, and then absorb.
Yeah. It's true.
But they're not built that way.
And then it kind of makes me mad because I hate to talk about this guy, but I feel like he's always going to be on the tip of your tongue, especially when you talk about Juve nowadays. But then you look at Ronaldo. The guy never wanted to play in the number 9 position for Juve, but then he plays number 9 for Man United, and it's like maybe if he would have played number 9 for us, we wouldn't be in this issue. Maybe we could have had a set lineup with Cristiano, with him being number 9, and there's our goal scorer, right?
I watched the past 2 United games with Ronaldo just to see how it is, and he starts as the number 9, but honestly, he's not a number 9. The way it works is they push Pogba and Fernandez up, and Ronaldo kind of comes in behind from the sides, like.
Okay, so a free roll.
Free roll, yeah. So like you can even tell today too, United was struggling against West Ham, and then it took a Jesse Lingard come off the bench and scored a nice goal. But still, he's not a true number 9 at United.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's. I mean, I haven't been able to really watch too much of Ronaldo at Man U thus far. So it's good to know. Okay, he's still not doing his number 9 thing. I think he'd be best as the number 9, but I mean, who knows if he would have? Yeah, for sure. Because I don't really trust him as a left winger. And you know what? If I get Ronaldo fanboys watching this episode of podcast, this podcast here, I'm probably gonna get roasted in the comments. But I mean, I don't think he's a left winger, not anymore. Anyways, he has. I hate to say it, and people got to realize he has decreased his. He's not bad, but obviously he's gotten older, right? So I mean, maybe the number 9 role is something he's got to adapt more or adopt more, especially for club versus because he is that for country. But I mean, maybe for club, he can step into a number 9 role. But who cares about Ronaldo? He is with Man United, so we are not here to talk about that. But going on into some Mercato talk, there's been a lot of, for some reason, well, actually not some reasons, there's been a lot of market talk for Juve this past week, especially because of the struggles of where they're struggling, how they're struggling, and what can help get them better. So one of the first ones that I want to talk about is going back here is Wojciech Szczesny. A report came out from, if I'm not mistaken, I think Football Italia, that stated they've identified 2 replacements for Wojciech Szczesny. One being De Gea, and the other one being Navas. So kind of touched on PSG before with Navas, or with Navas' situation and still starting. So maybe they are looking to get rid of him to integrate Donnarumma into it full time. But what are your thoughts on both goalies? And do you think that they are honestly like the way to go for this Juventus team?
I really don't see De Gea leaving. He was supposed to leave United 5 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah,
Something
so
like that. Yeah.
he's not leaving anytime soon, especially with Ronaldo there now. He's not going to leave. Who's the one at PSG
Navas.
again? Navas.
Navas.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind him at all. He's been solid throughout his career, right, with PSG, but he's a veteran guy. I don't know. I think if you're Juventus right now, you're a young team, young core, get us up and coming good young goal.
Yeah.
Right? If you're gonna do this rebuild, do it right.
Yeah.
Let this team be young together and grow old together.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I'll be honest with you. I don't want to touch on De Gea either. I've never really been a fan of David De Gea, but Navas, yeah, I mean, hey, he's 34. He is up there. Like you said, let get a young guy, let them grow old together. The one thing I would say about Keylor Navas that I would appreciate coming over is maybe he would help Wojtek Szczesny up his game, learn how to win in critical moments, because Keylor Navas, let's be honest, he was a part of the three-peat in Real Madrid, so he knows how to win. He knows how to win the big games, right? So I think personally having him come in and groom Wojtek Szczesny, not anything against not anything.
How old is
against
Szczesny?
Szczesny is, if I'm not mistaken, he is early 30s. I want to say 30, 31. So I mean, he's kind of getting up there.
So how can you still groom him? He's got 3 years left, maybe,
on his
just
contract.
Just in general. Just
Yeah,
playing.
probably
3 good years left, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe he could be on his downswing right now. I mean, how do you have such a bad 2021? Not a bad game or a bad string of games. We're talking about a bad year. You know what I mean? And I mean, his contract, if I'm not mistaken, runs out in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. I know I kind of made notes about some expiring contracts we're going to touch on soon, but Szczesny, if I'm not mistaken, expires in 2024. So we still have a few more years of Szczesny. So when do we look into that position to, what's the word I'm looking for? But I guess rebuild it or get it to the point where we need to get it, because, hey, we could be right now. We're talking about, Juve only 2 points out of a possible 12 to start, but 2-2 versus Udinese should have been 2-0.
Yeah,
that 1-0 against Empoli could have either been a 0-0 or a 1-0 Juve. So right there, now we're talking 7 out of a possible 12. Not the greatest start, but we're talking about top 6 versus bottom 10 or bottom 5. You know what I mean? So it's like, when do we look into this role and start to I like the fact that there's these rumors going around about Keylor Navas and about David De Gea as well, because maybe if these rumors have merit to them, where they're actually being talked about by Nedved, by Cherubini, by these up tops, maybe now they're starting to take notice. Like, you know what, we got to handle this before it becomes an even bigger problem. Because let's be honest, they let the wingback situation go to the point where it became a big problem. They let the midfielder position go until it became a big problem, right? So I think right now with Wojtek Szczesny, this is something they need to look into right now, because he's not getting any younger and he's not getting any better.
But do you want to address the goaltending situation right away, or would you rather use that money for fullbacks or maybe get another midfielder or two?
Well, I think if I would have to make a decision that way of where do you want to go first, I would probably have to say probably in the wing back, because that's just going to become more of an issue, especially with the fact that we got no competition for Sandro and Danilo. As much as Danilo has played amazing, and I mean I like what he's become, he still needs competition, because he's going to get older. And then he's not going to be that good anymore. And going back to what we talked about last time, Nedved saying, "Oh, De Chilio's the future."
Yeah, De Chilio's terrible.
Yeah, like we need that competition. So there's been rumors about Benjamin Mendy from Real Madrid. We all know about Juve's long-standing relationship with Real Madrid. So there's been a couple names from Real Madrid that Juve is looking to go after. So one of them being Benjamin Mendy, and then we have a couple midfielders in Isco and in Jovic. So before we get into the midfield, but yes, the wing back is probably the main priority now, because I think the more Locatelli plays, the more Rabiot looks better with Locatelli, the pressure of reformatting that midfield lessens. But we need to have proper competition on the wing backs, because Alexandro's looked good for 2 games. But what's going to happen against Spezia during the week? What's going to happen against Chelsea the following Champions League game? Right?
Or if he picks up an injury, then what? Pellegrini, Di Giulio,
right, and then you got Pellegrini as well, who looked decent against Empoli when he played, but he's not. I don't even. He might have actually. You know what? I completely forgot to follow up on Pellegrini, because he left that game injured, right? And that's been an issue with Pellegrini, is the consistent injuries, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I would say wingback is definitely where they got to look at first before goaltender, because I would probably say Wojtek Szczesny, if they go after Keylor Navas, that buys us a couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
Where do you think they should look at?
Address your fullback situation, then address your midfield, and then save the goaltending for last, I think.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I mean, if you can go after a couple nice midfielders, Pogba, for instance, his contract expires.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of chatter from Raiola saying that he's right. Raiola plays the game perfectly. He likes to talk a lot. He likes to get everybody to go in after his players. But all in all, I think if Juve is doing what I feel like they're doing, which is they're rebuilding that 2015 team, I think Pogba comes to Juventus next year.
And I don't know if Manchester can even afford them now with Ronaldo's bill on it, right?
That's true. That's true. So, and I would welcome Pogba with open arms, because we've talked about this during the week. Imagine in a 4-2-3-1. As much I love that formation. I think that formation suits this team the best. Yeah. Although they've looked good with the 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. Imagine Locatelli and Pogba, the way they would be able to feed off each other. You got 2 guys that can go offensive, 2 guys that can play back.
Yeah, but with Dybala up front as your linkman.
That's unreal, right? So I think right there, if you go after Pogba during the summer, then you're at least, I think you got yourself a legit midfield there, because then you would probably still have, I would assume, Weston McKennie, and you would most likely have Rabiot. So I think those 4 guys. I think
McKennie's going to leave. I think Juve's going to sell him.
Yeah,
I really.
I mean, I really don't blame you for thinking that, because the guy's been a troublemaker. I don't know why. I don't know if this is how he was in Schalke. I don't know if this is something that was kept on the DL, but he's been nothing but a nuisance for the team. I mean, not a nuisance in a way where he's bringing the drama onto the team, but his off-field antics make the team look bad. And Juve have always had that standard where you do something wrong, you're pushed aside, right? And maybe I wasn't really happy with this start against Napoli. I know we were shorthanded, but you're still giving a guy a reward for starting in such a big game for what he did with the U.S. men's national team, right? So, but touching on some market news with some expiring contracts at the end of this year, we're talking this year, so I'm talking about June of this year. The obvious Paulo Dybala, which apparently they seem to be very close in coming to an agreement on a new deal there.
Apparently the bonuses is what's keeping them back. Apparently there was a report saying the bonuses are just ridiculous and unreachable.
So
for him.
So in other words, from the Juventus standpoint, what they're telling
what they're offering Dybala with this much plus your bonuses. The bonuses are unrealistic and unreachable from what I read and saw on Twitter.
Yeah, do you have the link to that article or no?
I don't. If I find it, we'll post it up in the comments for everyone to read.
Okay.
But no, I gotta find it.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. The one thing I heard about the bonus structure was, well, the contract that they're doing is Juve's offering 7.5 with 2 million in performance bonuses, but Dybala wants 10 mil with 2 million in performance bonuses. So they're about a mil and a half apart. It seems, I guess, if you're taking that the 2 million bonus into consideration. But aside from Dybala with his contract, Juan Cuadrado is also expiring at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Federico Bernardeschi, Mattia De Sciglio, Mattia Perin, Morata. He's not expiring, but this is the year where they would have to pick up his option if they choose to pick up his option.
I think they will. And I think they will.
Most
35
likely.
mil. Yeah, they're
I
going
think
to
they
keep
will
him.
too. Chiesa's loan ends. He's going to most likely be he's got an obligation, so he's going to be picked up. So
what's the price tag on that again? Do you remember?
40, if I'm not mistaken, 40 mil.
So yeah, I think that's 75 mil right there, just in Chiesa and Morata.
Yeah, and then you would think to yourself, Dybala, it's probably going to be another 50 if they come to an agreement there. Cuadrado, I think.
I think they keep him. I read a report that they're going to keep him until 2023.
Makes sense. I think at this point in time, his age, it's just a renewal every year. I would assume maybe 2 years at the most.
Yeah.
He's really the only other competition that on that right side again for Danilo. Really, but at the same time, you don't want to play him.
You want him as a winger, right? Because him and Dybala, they have a great connection. So I wouldn't play him as a right back.
Yeah. So I mean, I think personally, we have some pretty important contracts. What do you do with Bernardeschi?
That's a tough one, man. I think just let him go. Let him find his game elsewhere.
I think this is less of a Juve standpoint and more of an Italian standpoint. You hope he leaves. You hope he leaves. Go find his. You know, you know what kind of player he is. He is a Sassuolo type player.
Mid-table. I think he would do well in like a Lazio jersey.
Yeah.
Maybe, right?
Yeah. Maybe even Milan. Maybe go to
maybe.
Maybe that's a possibility. But I would hope he leaves just from the Italian in me. And what he did for the national team and how he doesn't get a lot of playing time with this club. I would hope that he would leave. Perin, I would kind of hope that they re-sign him. Maybe he's another option on the bench of what they do as far as goaltender wise. De Sciglio, I would let him go. I really, really hope. I would
send him to Serie B.
I know, right? I think if Nedved was actually being serious about him being the future, why haven't you signed him yet? I mean, but then again, this all can come at the end of the year. But there's been a lot of rumors of Juve, and this has been rumors for the last few years, but Juve going after Isco from Spanish club Real Madrid. Where do you see him factor in if they ended up making a move for him? Is this something? Is this like maybe a rumor based off of them not coming to an agreement with Paulo Dybala?
I think so. I don't see it. There's no chance Isco comes to Juve.
I really
don't see it, man. I think, like I said, in the last podcast, COVID put a dent in the pockets of Vignelli, right? So for the next 2 years, I think your signings next year, they're going to be Chiesa and Morata, Dybala, and that's it. I really don't see them going after anyone else.
Speaking of dent, I wanted to bring this up on this podcast too. Did you hear the report about their pandemic losses?
Their 210 million?
210, I think that's euros, right?
210 million euros, yeah.
Which translates to 250 million Canadian dollars, which is insanely bad. And the way I feel is this: the fact that I first read that report on Sportsnet just goes to show you how bad it is. Because let's be honest, not a lot of Italian news comes out, not a lot of Serie A news comes out this way in Canada, which is why
a big problem that we have.
Which is a very big problem.
And even today, I want to bring up something quick.
Yeah.
TLN broadcasts the Italian Serie A league, right?
Yeah.
Instead of showing one of the biggest games this season so far, they show Empoli for Sampdoria.
Is that what they showed today at 2:45?
That's what they showed on TV at 2:45.
And that game, that was not even live then.
It was not live in Canada, Juve versus Milan.
But not that. I'm talking about
the GTA is either Milanista or Juventus, and they don't even show it on TV. They show Empoli, Sampdoria.
But that's the thing, though. That's what I'm saying is that game itself happened at 12.
Yeah, it was a replay. They showed a replay of a game instead of this one today.
That's why, before we get into more of this agenda that I have, people that are watching, I'm not too sure. Last week we got 33 views. Loved every one of them. Thank you very much. But
Thanks, guys.
this
Appreciate it.
this is why this page was made. Yes, I understand Juve from the six, but it's to try to gain traction on Juventus fans and hopefully build it into something bigger for Italian soccer fans here in Canada, because this country needs this. There are so many Italians that are starved for their favorite league, and they're forced to watch the EPLs, the Bundesligas, and the La Ligas. Let's try to get Serie A to be broadcasted properly, whether it be via an app or via your cable. It's got to be done. So the more likes this gets, the more comments this gets, the more shares it gets, just helps that, and hopefully will help going forward when it comes to Serie A. But maybe then we can help Juve not incur $250 million in losses. Oh, my camera showed. But yeah, so that's pretty insane. So that's why I think that kind of loss makes you think what kind of mindset are they going to have going into the market? Do they make a big splash on one player, re-sign certain players at a hometown discount, like the Bernadeschi's, the Quadrados, the Pettins, the Chilios? But where do they go from there, right? Because, or does the European Super League actually happen? But we're not going to touch on that. We'll touch on that on that.
It does not happen, but
another rumor that's I thought was really surprising was Lacazette is being courted by Juve and AC Milan. Do you think Juve actually need another striker?
No.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that they would.
Why would you go after another striker? Maybe they're not going to sign Morata then?
I don't know. Or maybe it's a backup. Maybe it's a backup if Morata doesn't, like, if he sucks. Will they pick up the $40 million option? No. So you might as well go for the next, I guess, free.
I guess with Keane, he can play the wing too, right? So
I think
I don't know, man. Yeah, you really.
Well, I don't want this team to be stacked with wingers and strikers, and because then we're going to be
fullbacks and midfielders.
Yeah, I personally think that 100% going into this next Mercato should be a focus on wingbacks and midfielders, and that's it. Yeah. With a heavy focus on the wingback position. So I was very surprised to see that going and seeing that he was being rumored to go. Looking into 2023, end of 2023,
it's my favorite year. A lot of good contracts going expired here.
Exactly. We got Rabiot saying sayonara, Ramsey sayonara, Sandro sayonara, Rugani sayonara. Locatelli and Keane, their obligation is going to be picked up, so their loan technically comes to an end. But yeah, so what do you think from that list?
Did you mention Ramsey on that one?
Think I might have not, but I'll say it again. Ramsey sayonara.
Say it one more time, please.
Ramsey sayonara.
Oh fuck! I can't stand this guy.
Ci vediamo, Ramsey. Oh man, you know what? Like, that should have never happened. I can't believe the 5 years is already up. But you know what?
Like, worst contract ever.
How many games has he played so far? Like 10?
Yeah, I think I've played more games in a Juve shirt
than
him.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think I sweat more during a Juve game than he does. Like, honestly, like, unreal. Like, and it's crazy because even when he did play, he brought nothing to the team. I mean, we don't offer a formation or a tactical approach to suit an Aaron Ramsey.
No, we don't.
Which makes the signing of Aaron Ramsey
a weird one. My mind. Everyone wanted him though too, right?
And that's the funny thing. And now that he's here, and he hasn't played a goddamn game. I know. Well, he played in the first game, but it's like after the first game,
right? Huh? Did he get hurt again?
I think so. Probably. He probably got hurt waking up or something like that. I don't know, man. I'm just happy that I hope that contract comes to an end with nothing else going. Rabiot, I think, with this year and next year, you see what he brings, right? You see what the season looks like, what he brings to the team. Maybe a re-signing. I don't think you actually say bye to Rabiot unless he's really truly that bad. Alexandro, I think as well. You don't really say goodbye unless he should be gone.
Yeah.
But Rugani, I think you let go because at that point in time, Draguzin, I would say, should be back from his loan and should be ready to pick up little bits and pieces of minutes for Juve. What do you think of Draguzin requesting to not being called up by Romania?
Yeah, it's a weird one. You think Romania would take him, but there's rumors going around that he's getting his passport and he could play for Italy.
Yeah, and I mean, we're kind of stacked up
on defense, no?
On defense, yeah, because who do we have? Acerbi, Bastoni, Bellini, Bonucci. So I mean, coming up after that, who else do we have really playing on defense? Some names are escaping my mind, but I remember seeing, I know Juve or Italy's pretty well versed in that, but kind of a surprising thing that he would want to play for Juventus versus Romania because he'd have more of a chance playing with Romania than he would with Italy, no?
I would think so, yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was weird. That one boggled my mind when I heard that, but hey, I'll take him. No problem.
You know what? I would too. I mean, he's 19, he's still young, so he'll spend most likely a few years with the under 21. So I mean, he won't have to really come up anytime soon. But yeah, but I mean, who knows? I mean, Italy's pretty well versed. It's never bad to have more defense coming up. I mean, you think to yourself, a lot of their defenders are a little older. They even got Toloi, who can play center back. He's not getting any younger. He's, I think, 30. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, you know what? They also got Mancini from Roma. They have
Mancini,
Lazzari. They got yeah. You know what? They actually have.
They're stacked on defense.
Yeah, they are stacked.
We're pretty well taken care of.
But hey, you know what, Draguzin, you want to come by, man. I mean, more the merrier, right?
I think what I wanted to do is touching back on the Juve Milan game.
Yeah.
I was thinking we should do player ratings.
Yeah, for sure.
You want to start that? In goal, Szczesny, out of 10.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm usually a shit talker. I usually shit talk Szczesny all the time. When called upon, he came out when he needed to come out to cut down angles, to cut down. He made that huge save on the French right back that came in. Huh?
Was it Liao? No, not Liao.
No. Opposite side came in for the injury guy. The guy that got injured.
Kalulu?
Kalulu. Yeah. Made that awesome save on. So you know what? I'd actually give Szczesny a 6.5. I mean, he really didn't have much to do in the first half. In the second half is when it poured it on. He's not at fault for the goal. He made the save on Kalulu. So I mean, you know what? I think 6.5 is good. How about you? What do you think?
I agree. 6.5. 6.5, sure.
Danilo, a rock of a game. No glaring.
No, you know, offensively, he was quiet though.
He was, and that's why, you know, I think 6 is perfect for him, just because there is no glaring issues, no glaring giveaways, and I find that's when Danilo is best. Is not when he's doing something good. It's just when you don't notice him and he just does what he has to do, and I give him a 6 for that.
Yeah, agreed. 6, and then we got Bonucci.
I would probably give him a 6 as well. Okay. I don't think he really made too many. I went 6.5.
I went 6.5.
Yeah. Had that nice pass, like I mentioned before, to Rabiot that created the chance. I like to see more of that from him. I mean, you don't really see it too often because, I mean, he's older now, which I get. But 6.5. That's cool. Chiellini?
6.5 for me as well.
I match you on that one.
Couple times offensively, he had a heavy touch. Gave him a few times, but defensively, he was solid.
Did what he had to do. Yeah.
Sandro, I gave a 7.
Sandro, he's become
a menace down that left wing.
Yeah, he's become a menace. Like, he just does his thing, and next thing you know, he's back on defense, ready to cover. Right. So I think 7's a good score for him.
And then we got Quadrado.
I think kind of a quiet game for him as well.
Yeah, I gave him a 6.
Yeah, 6.5.
had maybe a couple good flashes in the first 15, 20 minutes, but after that,
Yeah, it was
not
quiet.
much happened.
Yeah.
Bentancur.
Bentancur, man.
Oh,
I'm over Bentancur.
oh man, me too.
You know what? I'll give him a high five for trying.
Yeah, five and a half. I mean,
Yeah.
he had that one run, but he gave a terrible pass, and
Yeah,
Milan
I
went
know.
the other way.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I just can remember that was when they were the second half, right?
It was in the second half. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a solid play defensive. Locatelli, Bentancur picked it up, went around one guy, and the ball was just he passed it too softly, and then Milan other way.
Yeah. 5.5. 5.
Locatelli, I gave a 7.
Yeah, you know what? I'd say a 6. He didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have what he's been the last few games for Juve.
Yeah, could
But
be fatigue too, right?
could be
Could be
fatigue.
fatigue.
But I will say this: defensively, I give him a 7.5. So
Yeah.
more on the offensive is where he didn't do much. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which I thought he would be able to with playing with Bentancur, because Bentancur there would be able, Locatelli would be able to push up. So I give him 7 on the defensive end. All in all, I'd say 6.5.
Yeah. Okay. Rabiot, I gave a 5.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have.
First solid 20 minutes, but then after that,
Yeah, I personally think he should have scored that goal on that pass by Bonucci. I think he, or at least should have done better. Should have at least made the goalie work. Like, you know what I mean? I get it, over the top, left foot, like volley-ish kind of thing, but make the goalie work. Put it on net. You never know what happens.
or
right?
even in the first half, he had that break too, right? And then I think it was
Yeah,
Hernandez
the
that caught
tackle.
up to him.
Yeah,
Like, you know, you're not the fastest guy. At least shoot the ball as soon as you hear the footsteps come behind you, right?
or
And
you
he
know
was
what?
right.
Make a quick stop and turn. See who's coming. See who's
Yeah.
coming down. Right? Like
He
'cause
kind of
obviously-
panicked there.
Yeah, I think I guess he's in a position that he wasn't.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, the net's right there. What do I do? Anyways, you know what I mean.
Dybala,
I wasn't really happy with his yellow card. I found that was very careless of him. I know that didn't
the
really
fight
think
with
too much.
Tonali.
Yeah, like
I like that though.
I like that.
he
I like
stuck
that
up
too.
he stuck up for his guys. I like.
Yeah, I like that for that reason. But at that point in the game, with the way it started to heat up, and the way that ref wasn't doing or giving anything to Milan as far as cards, what has scared me was that red. That's what scared me when I saw the ref holding the card up. My heart stopped at first, because I was like, oh my god, what is it? Yellow, okay, that's fine. And I like the fact that he stuck up for what happened to Morata at the other end, right? But like, it was scary. I at that point, I think he was just heated up, and it could have been a lot worse than I mean, with this ref, who knows, right? But thankfully, yeah. What do you give him?
I give him a 7.
7, yeah. I see. I see you on 7, yeah. He had the assist, no? I think he had the assist on the Morata goal.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
and he created a couple more chances too. He had a couple long shots that just missed, so he created a couple corners.
Yeah,
7. Morata, I gave a 7. Scored a nice goal.
Yeah,
made some good runs. Didn't get the service he deserved today, but
yeah, I think that's going to be an issue too, because Morata puts the ball in the net when you give it to him.
Yeah,
he's very good at. I'm probably going to be laughed at for this, but I think he's very underrated. I think he's got an opportunity to be a top number 9 in the world. At least one of the top number 9s, not number 1, but
no, not number
but he needs to be given the service, because he cannot create out of nothing. But he's more of a, you give him the ball, it's going to be put in the back of the net. The guy bleeds Juve, man. I personally think he bleeds Juve, bro. Like, even when he played even for Chelsea too, like, he was good for Chelsea, but then got injured and then became Kaká. You know what I mean? And then even with Atletico, he just wasn't ever given the opportunity, right? Because people already shit on him from the Chelsea time, right? Going to Atletico. But I think personally, yeah, like, I think he give him the ball, he's going to put it in net.
Yeah, I like him. His wife's from Torino. His kids are born in Torino.
I bet you 10-1 if he was able to switch get an Italian passport, he would probably do it.
He'd probably do it.
He'd probably do it in a heartbeat.
We need a striker.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And he would be perfect for that. Question, random question. I wanted to talk to you about this when this was happening. Okay, first off, what's your take on putting the ball out of bounds when a player is injured?
Depends on the injury.
Yeah.
Head injury, totally agreed. But other than that, keep playing, man. Like half
So
the time, these guys are just like, faking it, and I hate that part of soccer.
So
Football,
do you
couch, whatever you
blame?
call it.
So do you blame Milan for playing the times that they did in this game? Where because that's what pissed.
Just the one with
people off.
Morata because that was a real injury because whenever the player subs off does this, that's when you should stop playing.
Yeah.
Because you know it's real.
So don't you think that is that in the ref's hands as well? Do you think it should be in the ref's hands seeing that?
Yeah, it should. The ref should have. The linesman should have said, "Hey, he's actually hurt. He's signaling to get subbed off. Blow the whistle. Stop play. Get him off. Let's go."
You know what? Because I personally think the reffing in this game was a little not bad, but like very weirdly one-sided in a way where like it seemed like Juve just never didn't I hate to say it like this, but didn't get favored. You know what I mean? Where a lot of the calls weren't going both ways. Milan was getting very soft calls.
Yeah.
But when Milan would be hard-nosed on Juve, they weren't getting the proper discipline for that. They didn't get a yellow card in the whole game. Right? I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Didn't Tonali get one for that exchange?
Tonali did. Tonali did, yeah. But it's just like there's a couple there that I thought like that maybe should have kind of went under the radar. But I mean, I'm not going to dive into that. But
yeah.
But yeah.
Actually, I want to ask you this question too.
Yeah.
So put away the Juve logo for a second. Just as a fan, who has more upside, Tonali or Locatelli?
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining for today's episode. I'll talk to you later. No, I'm kidding.
It's a tough one. I saw IFTV post that question. I was like, I gotta make sure I ask that in the podcast tonight. Who's got the more upside? It's a tough one, eh? Guys, I think we just cracked Chris. I think his brain just exploded.
That's a tough question. I'm gonna say Simone Padoin. I'm kidding.
Greatest of all time.
I'm going to say Tonali. I think Tonali is
and he's like 3 years younger too, right?
And Locatelli is beyond his years, I think. Locatelli shows he's very mature for his age on the field. Like he knows how to dictate play. He knows when to push up, when to stay back, when to receive the pass, like all these kind of things that you notice, like you think to yourself, like, wow, he's only 24. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Locatelli's 24, but Tonali
at 21 years old, man.
And you know what?
Taking charge of that Milan midfield.
And just watching him today, all I could think of was Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, and with all due respect to Jorginho, like, what he's done for Italy, for the Euro Cup, congrats on the Champions League, but move aside, bro. Time for Tonali. Like Tonali, makes you. Do you remember when Pirlo retired? You sat there thinking to yourself, like, oh my God, what's going to happen to this midfield after he leaves? What is going to happen? We are so screwed. Now it's like, okay, Jorginho leaves, Verratti leaves. We have Tonali.
Yeah.
Because now you think to yourself too, both those guys leave. Okay. So when Locatelli and Verratti play, you have two of the like-minded midfielders that when they get to that point of the 18-yard box, they don't know how to shoot because they don't shoot. They always think pass first.
No, Locatelli does though. He knows how to get up.
No. With Verratti and Jorginho.
Okay, yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
But once they move on to greener pastures and Tonali comes in and Locatelli's there, you're gonna have a guy where Tonali can sit back and Locatelli can go do his thing up and down box to box, right? Yeah. So, and that just furthers the whole Italy's so deep on midfield argument that we are so ready for the years to come.
Yeah.
Like, I think, now this is probably going to be 100% biased, but I personally think we're more deep at the team in itself as a whole. This includes striker, even though we're not deep at striker. But I mean, just as a whole, I think we're deeper and more ready for the future with Italy than Germans were with Germany when they won the World Cup. When Portuguese were with Portugal when they won the Euro. And I think with France, France has a lot of good players, but
yeah, they just can't get it together.
They just can't get it together. But when they do, they're going to be scary. But if they continue not getting it together, they're not going to go anywhere. Belgium's done. I think they just have a lot. I think a lot of their top players are gone. Yeah. They're going to have a lot of good players. They're always going to be in World Cups and Euro Cups or whatever, but it's going to be a while until they are a threat. Spain, I mean,
Spain looks good. Spain's good.
They do. Dani Olmo's a solid player.
Same problem as Italy, no striker though.
Yeah, no striker. There's that guy they have. Who's the defender from Man City? Laporte.
There we go, Laporte.
Awesome defender. Like they're ready. I think that in years to come, you're going to see. I think top 3 teams, not in any specific order: Italy, France, and Spain.
Mm-hmm. Throw England in the mix.
England in the mix too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever come home, but you got to throw them in the mix. Right. But but going back to that, Tonali, that I would say he's got a bigger upside, but I just think it's more so because no one ever thought Locatelli was going to be anything. They're already comparing. They compare as soon as he started with Brescia, they said Tonali was the next Pirlo.
Yeah.
Right. Locatelli was with AC Milan. AC Milan said, "We're going to give you away." Went to Sassuolo and had to retool himself. A lot of that had to do with the Derby, right?
Yeah.
So, and then he came back home, and hopefully he can continue to grow with Juventus, right? And the good thing is he's been starting now, and he hasn't been. It was worrying me when he came. I was like, "Fuck!" No, knowing Allegri, he's probably gonna. These guys not gonna start until March of 2022, right? So
last game of the season.
Yeah, right. So it's good to see that he's been giving his opportunities. But that's a good question. That actually really made me brain constipated.
It's a tough one, man. Yeah, I know. It's an exciting midfield coming up.
Definitely. So I also wanted to, I guess, now first midweek game of the Serie A season. We have Spezia coming up this week. What do we expect from you before we touch on that game? Where does Juve go from here? 2 points out of a possible 12.
18th place in a relegation zone.
Where does Juve go from here?
They're on the hot seat now, man, for real. They just got to play the way they played the first half today, right? Killer instinct, attack, press high, score goals, kill the game. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how they got to play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
take advantage. Take advantage of the smaller teams, right?
I think it's only 4 games in. And that's the thing. I think what it comes down to is games against your Empolis and your Udineses and your Spezias, no less than 3 points. The games against the Lazios and the Milans and the Inters, they'll balance out the way they balance out, right?
Yeah.
Like Inter can go beat AC the first game they play, right? So it's like, and if we win, we just gain 3 points on AC Milan, right? So they got to continue with the way they are. I mean, after what happened today, after the way the season started, kind of don't know what to expect with them in Champions League either. How do they set up with Chelsea in that midweek game, right? And we're gonna have a special guest for next week on the podcast to set up the Chelsea game. But where does Juve go from here when it comes to Spezia game now? So how do they line up? What's your formation for Spezia?
4-4-2 again. Same players. as today.
Yeah. I'm
Maybe
gonna
Chiesa
go.
starts. Maybe Chiesa starts
That's
over
what I was going to say.
Quadrado or
Yeah.
maybe a Rabiot.
Yeah. I was going to say, so I was going to say the exact same thing. I see the 4-4-2. I would put in Chiesa. I put him over Rabiot. I know Chiesa favors the right side,
Yeah.
but
But he
I
can play
think
the
that,
left, he has to.
but he can play the left. So
Yeah.
I personally think, because that gives the ability of the 4-4-2 turning into the 4-4-3-3. But I think you put Chiesa on that left side for Rabiot. Who do you start up top? Morata, Dybala?
If Morata's not hurt, yeah, but what I was just
Yeah.
reading earlier, it's muscle tightness. Should be okay, but they might even rest him and start Keane.
I mean, I guess
you got to build that connection between Keane and Dybala as well, right?
Yeah, and I mean, Allegri wanted Keane back badly, right? So he said he was going to be making that move regardless. So yeah, I'd like to see that. Maybe I'd like to see that over Morata starting. Yeah, let him rest, because I think we need Morata more so for Champions League. And who do we play on the weekend?
Let me just pull that up right quick. I'm not too sure.
Sampdoria.
There we go.
Yeah, so we play Sampdoria. So I mean, those are two games that we can afford to rest. I guess Morata back to back if worst comes to worst. I mean, here we talk about as if Juventus is the favorites going into these games, but I mean, Spezia and Sampdoria are both over them in the table. So
it's a 6:30 a.m. start too.
Yeah, nice and early. So
nice and early.
Not bad. Wake up, get the
big
insulin
derby
pumping
next
high.
week too, eh? Lazio Roma.
Say that again?
Lazio Roma next week too.
Okay, yeah.
Sunday, right? The 26th?
Yeah, and then the day before you have
Roma
versus Atalanta.
Yeah, that'll be a nice game to watch too.
Hopefully we'll catch it on TLN. Anyways, but yeah, so we got some nice games coming up next weekend for Serie A. Guys, like and subscribe, comment, talk about your favorite team, because we are trying to get Serie A back here in Canada on Sportsnet, on TLN, whoever decides to pick it up. We want to show that there is a market, guys. Let's do this not for the growth of this channel, but for the growth of the Italian game in Canada. Let's be honest. We just finished watching our boys in blue win the Euro Cup. We want to watch these guys. We want to keep tabs on the players like Raspadori, like Berardi, like all these young guys, right? So let's like and subscribe to this channel. Hopefully, we start talking more Serie A soccer. Maybe start having fans from opposing teams in Serie A come on these podcasts, give us their opinion on what goes on for that.
We're open to everything, guys. Open to everything.
Yes. But is there anything else on your mind, Leo?
Tomorrow's work, man. So no.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Get some good rest and.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think I will say this to sum up the Italy or the Juve versus Milan game. At least they didn't come away with the 3 points. Could have done better. Probably should have been better with the way we played in the first game. But other than that, Spezia, Juve, September 22nd. Can't wait for that. Look out for podcast 2.5 coming out this week. I have a couple videos coming out this week. Hopefully you guys enjoy. One last time, like and subscribe to the channel. Juve from the 6. Thank you for joining us for podcast number 2. You guys have a good week, and we'll see you later.
Take care, guys. See you next week.